Okay, so many of you have been waiting for this one. This is of course my Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus versus my Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. Now, if you happen to be in the market for either one of these two tablets, this is the video to watch. Let's go ahead and jump in. Now, starting off with the design here, you could not tell these two apart unless you really looked, or let's say if you are very familiar with the newer colors that were released with the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, then maybe you'll be able to tell that, you know, one color is a little bit darker than the other one. Otherwise, you can't really tell these two apart. It is literally the same thing, and I mean physically, obviously. Now, essentially, it is the same design that we had last year with, you know, extremely subtle differences. And I can personally note a couple of differences here, right? Starting off with just the power button and also the volume rocker. Now, if you pay attention, you will notice that on the Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, they are flatter and close to being kind of on the flush side. So it's a little bit closer to the actual body of the tablet as opposed to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7. Now, the other difference that you will notice also will be with the main camera on the back of the tablet there, and that is of course in addition to the fact that the camera itself has been upgraded. So the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus has an upgraded camera, and those will be kind of the two main physical differences that you will find if you truly look closely. And, you know, still sticking with the physical differences, one that does not pop to the eye is just the body. You know, the material that was used for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, according to Samsung, it is made with industry-leading armor aluminum. Not sure what that means, but either way, I'm assuming that that means that it's a little bit more solid than what we have on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus from last year, simply meaning that of last year was simply boasting a regular aluminum body. I mean, other than that, you pretty much have the same stuff from last year. So the same quad speaker setup there, which is, you know, just fantastic. It sounds very nice, very crisp, and it gets really loud. Of course, the optical fingerprint sensor is still there. They share the same battery life at 10,090 milliamps. So you're looking at definitely a full day of use. Based on your type of usage, I always say, you know, it will depend. Of course, it is subjective to your type of usage. With me, it definitely lasts a day, the same as it was the case with the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 when I first started using it, and even now, even up until now, it still does last a day. And of course, you still do have the micro SD card slot, you know, the multiple mics, the USB Type-C, and that USB Type-C, of course, does push out video signal, unlike it is the case with some mid-range and some budget tablets. So if you were to do like a quick recap of what I've been talking about the past minute or so, it would essentially be that the new Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus on steroid, right? I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to say that. Same dimension also. So if you had, or if you currently own book cover for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus, you could definitely slide this guy in and it would fit like a glove. The display here is also the same, right? You know, Samsung is essentially using the same panels that it did use on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, and they seem to be calibrated essentially the same way. I can't really tell the difference when I'm watching this. Now, there may be one, but nothing that really pops to the eye, right? So when you put them side by side, you know, Super AMOLED display, you cannot tell what the difference is. By the way, I know we're still doing a lot of covering of the similarities, but there are a ton more differences down the line. So just bear with me here. They're both, of course, just amazing tablets for entertainment, whether, you know, you're playing games or watching movies, or even if you're just navigating the internet, right? Just doing your regular day-to-day stuff. It is just a fantastic display to be working on. And like I said, these are beautiful Super AMOLED display, and they share the same resolution at 1752 by 2800. And of course, if you take into account the display size, which is 12.4, that means that it is, of course, the same PPI, right? So it is exactly the same density when it comes to the pixels. So pixel density is the same, which of course explains why I'm unable to tell the difference between these two displays. And like you would imagine, 12.4 inches is fairly large for a tablet, at least larger than the average tablet size that we do see out there, because the average tablet size is around what, 10 to roughly 11 inches, and again, these are 12.4 inches, so they are big boys. And by the way, before you forget, please make sure to hit both the like and the subscribe button there. I truly appreciate that. But anyway, so let's talk about the biggest differences here, and those differences are found on the inside, right? And that'll be with something like the chipset. And before we even get to the chipset, let's quickly talk about the cameras, right? So there has been a camera upgrade on here. So on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus, you had a 13 megapixel wide and a 5 megapixel ultra wide camera. Now with the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, you are looking at that same 13 megapixel wide, and this time around you were looking at a 6 megapixel ultra wide, and I can tell you that the quality of the picture and the videos are definitely improved on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus. So that's definitely something worth noting. And of course, just to recap, I did mention that there is a physical difference between both cameras, the one on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus and the one on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. So beyond that, the camera themselves, like the quality that they offer, definitely better on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus because it's been upgraded. Same with the front camera, right? So on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus, you had an 8 megapixel wide lens at the front, but with the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, you will have a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens at the front, and the quality is also better. So not only you get an upgraded camera that does offer you a wider frame, but the quality is also different. And that aspect is also worth noting simply because of the day and age that we live in, right? A lot of us connect more, we connect virtually nowadays, right? So we connect with video calls and all that good stuff. Because if you think about it, a while back, they used to focus more on the main camera, and then the front camera wouldn't even do 10% of what the main camera could do. But nowadays, they also focus a lot more on the selfie cameras, simply because a lot of people connect with family, you know, a lot of people telework that way, a lot of people conference calls, all that good stuff, Zoom and all of that good stuff. So they try to make sure that it matches today's life's dynamics. All right, now let's go ahead and jump into what could be considered the biggest difference between these two tablets. Of course, that'll be on the inside, right? The chipset. This, of course, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus here is boasting Qualcomm latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, and the unit that I have here is the base model, right? And that comes with 128 gigs of internal storage along with 8 gigs of RAM. And you can go for the next config, which is 256 gigs of internal storage along with that same 8 gigs of RAM, or you could go ahead and go for the 256 gigs of internal storage along with 12 gigs of RAM. On the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7, of course, the base 128 gigs of internal storage will come with 6 gigs of RAM, and you could go ahead and push for 256 gigs of internal storage, which will come with 8 gigs of RAM, and that will be the same thing also if you were to go for the 512 gigs on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus here. You will also get 8 gigs of RAM. Now, in terms of performance, and I'm sure many of you are waiting for this part, in terms of performance, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, of course, is set to perform better than the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus, right? But that difference, personally, I don't think is massive. Also, depending on the type of things that you do on your tablet, right? So if you're just doing your regular day-to-day stuff, navigating the internet, checking your emails, little things like that, you won't really notice much of a difference, except if you're working on heavier tasks, right? Like heavier projects that you're trying to open, you know, heavier games, editing, and, you know, maybe rendering videos, rendering 4K videos and things like that. You know, that of course would process a little bit faster on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus when compared to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7. Of course, that is just my subjective, my personal take on that. You know, people may experience different things, but in my humble take, this is definitely faster. The Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus is definitely, it performs better. If you're doing super high productivity stuff where where you're working with super heavy tasks, of course, you will notice that difference. And when you look at just the Geekbench results, of course, on paper, it will also show the same thing, which of course, to be fair, I have to admit, again, there are things that the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus just, chew through faster than the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. The things that it loads and open faster when compared to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. And of course, since we're talking about productivity, you do have Samsung DeX available on either one of these tablets. So if you're trying to be super productive, either one should do. The next major difference we'll bring up here is going to be the Samsung S Pen, because when we compare the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus S Pen to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus S Pen, we do see a difference. There's a 9 millisecond latency on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus S Pen, whereas on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus S Pen, we do have only a 2.8 milliseconds, which, believe me, is a massive difference when you are used to using the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. I was used to using that tablet, so when I use the S Pen on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, I could definitely notice that difference. The drag is almost non-existent when compared to what you have on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. So that latency has been improved so much, and in fact it does match the latency that is found on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. Just to tell you, in either case, palm rejection is really, really good. But going back to the latency, you definitely notice that. So to people, to artists, people who draw and who tend to take notes, they will definitely notice. I mean, if they were to compare both, they'll be able to tell immediately. It is as if you are using an ink pen to, write on an actual piece of paper. It just follows the tip of that pencil. Now, the next difference that I want to bring up here is for people who tend to, hold on to their devices for a while, of course, and I know those people really care about this one thing. The Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus, which is this one, of course, came out a little bit over a year and a half ago, and that is eligible for 3 major updates. So it already used up 1, so I believe it still has 2. I could be incorrect. I believe it still has 2 to go, whereas the new one, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, is eligible for not 3 but 4 major updates, right? And that means you need to start counting it just now, right? So 4 updates, which is definitely major for a lot of those people who always ask how long, the tablet is going to be supported and all of that good stuff. Now, for the other people who are out there who know that they'll be upgraded in about a couple of years or so, that shouldn't matter much, but it is definitely worth bringing up. Now, let's go ahead and just conclude this video here. There are upgrades to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus. There's no doubt. There's no question about that. But does that mean that it is for you automatically? And the answer to that is no. Just because it's been upgraded, you have a lot of upgrades on here, just because of that, it doesn't mean that this tablet is for you. Now, what you need to first figure out is what you're looking to do with a tablet, right? So if you want something with the latest from Samsung, so the latest bells and whistles, that would be, something that would be supported longer, internal upgrades and so forth, then just go ahead and go for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus. But on the other hand, of course, if you want something that would offer you a little bit more value and you don't want to spend too much, but you want a high productivity tablet, obviously you have to go for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. Or if you already have even the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus and you were thinking about upgrading, I personally don't think that the upgrades here are worth you going for the Tab S7 Plus to the Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, but that's just my take. Unless, of course, you really want it. Of course, if you just want to get a Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Plus, that's a completely different story. You could go ahead and do that. But my humble take, if you already own a Tab S7 or a Tab S7 Plus, you don't really need to go up to the Tab S8 Plus. Just my take. But as I always say, just first figure out what you are looking for a tablet for. And if you need additional help, put that in the, put your questions in the comment section. I will catch you in that comment section. Make sure also to like the video, share if you would know anyone who will be interested, anyone in the market for this. I'm certainly hoping that this was informative. I am going to catch you in the comment section. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe also, just in case you forgot. Make sure to subscribe. I'm going to catch you in the next video as well. And up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.